The Sirians wish to bring you this transmission. For the aspect of your intention of the throat and the throat chakra and its energy within. This throat chakra, the empowerment of the throat chakra, for the alignment of the truth that has held within and how it is expressed, begins deep within your essence, deep within your physicality. For it is not just words that pass through your throat. It is not where the origin of the words begin, but it is where they are infused with power and truth. They are formulated, yes, in your thought process, but well before that, they are every bit of your structure, your cellular structure. Before they are even a thought, they are already culminating, formulating, connecting themselves together to become the thought. And where does it begin? It begins deep down in your solar plex, in your sacral, creativity and power, all of it. Each word, each thought, all begin there. And as they begin to come together, before they are even thought, they are then infused with your heart. The heart energy, where your compassion, your understanding, your projection of self resides. As they are infused and pass through the heart, they then begin to form into the thoughts that you wish to speak. But because the throat and the solar plex are in unison for what you speak, each word, no matter what it is, holds truth and power. No matter the word that comes across the lips, it is infused with truth and power. For it begins there. So have an understanding that as you speak, you understand the concept that the words that you speak have vibration. And they do. And those vibrations can affect many things, and they will. But it is the truth and the power that is in each word. Think about a sentence that you may say to someone in kindness. Think of a sentence you may say to someone that you are angry with. It holds truth and power. The gravity of that, the substance of that is imperative to understand. For no matter what you say, you are speaking your truth through your power. And it is this to understand as you begin to shift and open this expression of yourself, this throat chakra. As the words and the sentences, the concepts, the understandings begin to formulate, to be able to be spoken to someone, or even to yourself, realign them with an understanding. Realign them with the understanding of the empowerment that is within. Empowerment isn't always just the affirmative words that are spoken, but even when you are angry, discordant, and you speak the words, there's empowerment in that. It's an empowerment to separate. It's an empowerment to pull aside. It's an empowerment to step away. So you have to understand the power that each word holds. This infusion through the heart. For you understand compassion, you understand unconditional love, you understand your presence amongst others. You understand how your heart emanates out before you. But do you understand the concept that each word, each phrase, is infused with the same energy? So as you begin this alignment process, it is to view your own process a bit differently. It is to view it from an understanding that whether words are said or words are not said, they're still infused with your heart essence, this compassion, this unconditional love. But it is much deeper than that as well. Where does your compassion, your unconditional love come from? Does it come from a place in which it begins with you? Do you have compassion for yourself? Do you have unconditional love for self? Do you respect that essence of yourself before you infuse the words you are about to say? So as you can see, it is an equation. Each part has its own role. Each part plays a specific role in the words you are about to say. How they infuse, how they change, how they impact. For your mind will tell you what is being said, but that isn't the truth. The truth is how you understand the equation of what is being infused into the sentence, the concept, the words that are being spoken. The mind itself is going to tell you that's an appropriate thing to say. It will encourage you to say certain things, overriding the truth. And you'll say it and you'll understand it as such. And then it's difficult to understand why it wasn't received the way it was meant to be received. Because at the point at which it was being formulated, you understood it because it was being infused with your heart essence, your heart connection. And you knew that that's how it was supposed to be said, but yet the mind itself overlays upon it. It's the same words, but it overlays upon that sentence. And then it is changed just a bit. So it's how to get the mind out of the way when you begin to speak the truth. That takes practice. It's a bit of training. It's a bit of understanding this equation and how it formulates into an appropriate infused word, sentence, concept. It is to understand that as it begins to process and you are beginning to speak, what does it feel like? Does it hold the resonance that it's supposed to? Not to think, is it going to be received the way it's supposed to? Is it going to be received by the person that I'm telling it to the way it is meant to be? For if you're asking the question, then most likely it is not. When you are directly aligned with your truth, the truth that is to be spoken, there's no question in it. You know that it will be received appropriately. It will be received as a connection from heart to heart. You will feel the emotion in it, the acceptance, the gratitude, the love, the reciprocal aspect of your transmission. So it is to understand this process. It is not just simply speaking. Though it is easy to speak, and you have been doing it all your life. But now you have an understanding of the equation. You have an understanding of the concept of how it formulates and how it is infused. And at its base, you have the concept that it is vibration and how the vibrations change things. But now you have a more appear behind the curtain of what it takes to speak your truth. And if you wish to ask questions, please do so.
Thank you for your presence. Do you have any suggestions for just blockages in the throat chakra?
If there is a blockage, if there is this discordant energy within the throat that prohibits you from the full aligning of the truth and how to speak the truth and how to moderate the truth and how to be present in the truth. There are many things you can do, many approaches. First is to center yourself in your heart essence. It is this aspect of compassion, unconditional love, but for self. Reflect upon that. That is the first layer. It is this balancing of your own compassion, your own love for self. And you've experienced a number of things this evening to re-energize, to refocus, to move energy beyond the throat. Those are good practices. Anything that causes vibration across the throat, anything that allows you to open and allow it to expand is appropriate. You have to move the vibrations across in order to begin the opening process. And then it is practice. Understanding this equation and understanding how it is formulated and feeling into what you are about to say before you say it. Practice to yourself, speaking to yourself, for that is the first challenge. If you cannot speak to yourself in the way in which you would speak to others, then you still have a block, a restriction, a constriction. So practice all of that. But it is all understanding how to formulate the appropriate structure of the sentence, of the words, of the concepts.
So it's interesting. It sounds like it's not even so much about the throat itself as much as the other chakras, whether you're operating from your heart space or whether you're operating out of fear, which is solar plexus.
This is correct. For even if you are talking specifically about the heart and you have a blockage or a constriction in your heart chakra, it is one that they all work in unison. You have to address all of them when working upon one. You cannot remove a constriction from one and assume all are going to be aligned just by removing that one restriction. For if you work on the heart, you must also work on the throat, the solar plex, the sacrum, the crown, third eye, the root. Doesn't matter. You have to work on all of them in unison because they all have an equal part in the equation. The heart itself, if you speak love to self, it all begins with self. If you pass the words across your lips to yourself, and it is all for here, your heart essence, that's where the balance will start to take place. That's where the restriction will take place. If you speak power to yourself, if you speak creativity, rebirthing to yourself, again, it all has to come here to be released. Yes, the motioning of sound across the throat is appropriate. That lubricates, that puts into motion the appropriate vibrations. But you have to formulate the words that hold the right resonance for the appropriate alignment, beginning with self.
Makes sense. Thank you very much. Was your energy with us during our own chanting?
It has been here from the beginning.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I have a question. I feel at times that I can hear in people's voices if they have a certain illness, and I'm curious if, let's say, an illness like cancer or an autoimmune disease can be detected through the sounds of the voice also.
Yeah, this is correct. For you understand that all things in existence are vibration. If you understand that, then you understand a disease, an illness, or any other affliction is going to have a frequency field. You have to understand the mechanisms of your throat, the physical mechanisms of your throat. They are just a musical instrument. For if a disease, an illness, an ailment, an affliction has a particular frequency, as it formulates in the body and it is called forward, as they speak about it, and that is the most appropriate aspect. You have to get them to speak about it, and that is when the detection will take place, because it will begin to produce an inflection in the vocal cords to bring across a different attenuated tone within the voice. And that is what you are picking up on.
And how can I train myself better into picking up these tones? Because I can tell at times if someone has a certain illness, but I would like to be better at picking up these imbalances in the organs that come through the voice.
In order to bring yourself into coherence with this understanding, this will become a bit easier in time, but you must align yourself with individuals that may have certain ailments and allow them to speak that ailment aloud over and over again, saying it by name, putting it into a sentence, how it is aligning with them. And as you do, you'll begin to pick up the small frequency changes as they speak. And you'll begin to build a memory point of this ailment with this tone. That is your practice. Just as you were to play an instrument, you must repeatedly play the same chord or the same string over and over again in order to make it sound exactly the way it needs to. This is what you are building, a memory port of those experiences.
Thank you. And by the same token, we know that frequency and tone can heal ailments. Can all frequencies that heal ailments be made by the human voice?
They can. You have to understand, if you are at a point at which you are afflicted with an ailment, and you are in tune with the vibrational aspect of that ailment, no matter what it is, no matter where it is in the body, if you have the ability to understand how to inflect your voice in a way in which it counteracts that. It would be considered the opposing frequency. So it is vibrating at a particular frequency. You want the opposing frequency to be overlaid upon it, which then cancels it out. Just as if you were to sit within range of 2 speakers, and you were to sit directly in the middle of the 2 speakers, and you were to play 2 tones that cancel each other out, there would be absolutely no tone in the middle. Though you move yourself just slightly to the left, and there would be a tone, slightly to the right, and there would be a tone, but directly in the middle, there would be absolutely no tone. That is the cancellation frequency aspect.
Are there humans on Earth at this time who are cataloging and have cataloged those frequencies?
There are a number of medical officials that have done that. There are a number of scientists that have understood this aspect but have not put it into action.
Well, I think that's all we have this evening, and we're so grateful that you came in to chat with us about all of this. It was very helpful.
As always, it is a pleasure to be amongst all of you, to allow our transmissions to come through to you. Allow this transmission to settle with each and every one of you. And until next time, we bid you peace.
Thank you.